over Operation Sindoor in both houses of Parliament over the last 2 days. We've seen not just the Defence Minister, the External Affairs Minister, the Home Minister, but the Prime Minister also respond to all the barbs, the accusations and the questions of members of the opposition. Very pertinent questions were raised and they were responded to with equal gusto. And to talk about it, we have with us Praful Ketkar, editor, organizer. Praful, what do you make of how this debate went? There were certain questions swirling around Operation Sindoor, how it started, how it ended especially, and what was the outcome of the manhunt that had been launched after what had happened in Pahalgam. But it seems all the questions have been answered today by not just the Prime Minister, but also by his team members of his union cabinet.
Absolutely, Gautam. I think, since 22nd April, when the Pahalgam incident happened, there was, talk about why there is no action. Then when action started, why we are going this way. And then after we decided to, after Pakistan's request, we decided to have a pause in our border-related actions. There have been questions raised, and if we have seen since yesterday in the Parliament also, there are questions related to whether the terrorists actually came from Pakistan, what was government's response, how far the real damage was done to Pakistan. And point by point, first Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, then External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, and today Home Minister Amit Shah, and then in the end Prime Minister Modi gave very befitting reply to each and every point raised by the opposition benches. The most interesting part that I found, Gautam, was the way Home Minister explained the actual details about the investigation, the NIA investigation part of 3,000 hours of investigation with more than 1,000 suspects who were somewhere involved in this, and then actually verifying each and every detail of the terrorists and then taking a decisive action and eliminating them yesterday in Operation Mahadev. So that part was new, and many of the people, even in the strategic community or media, were not aware of these, minute details. So that was one interesting part. Secondly, when yesterday Dr. Jaishankar, Minister for External Affairs, clearly mentioned that, as far as, because most of the questions were raised about the American intervention and whether the trade-related things mixed up with the, this so-called ceasefire. So again, there was a very categorical clarification that from 22nd April to 17th June, there was no single phone call between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi. So I think that should clear the air. And as Prime Minister made the statement, this was our national resolve. And instead of doing politics over it, we should think about, collectively, how to address these issues and how to fight against terrorism collectively. I think that was the broad message that government tried to convey through this entire discussion.
Certainly, and the Prime Minister very clearly said that no world leader asked India to stop Operation Sindoor. So that was a clear reference, if not direct, to Donald Trump, not as Rahul Gandhi was challenging the Prime Minister to say that he should clearly spell out and tell Donald Trump that you're lying. Do you think that would have been a pertinent part for the Prime Minister to take, being the head of the Indian government, calling out the head of state and government of a country, not just any country, but the United States?
In strategic communication, there is a language through which you can. Prime Minister conveyed that, I think, wonderfully when he went to Canada, and President Trump expected him to join in the US when General Mooney was expected there. And Prime Minister Modi clearly saying no. That itself was a message, I think. Because in diplomacy, you need not, have to say everything. Sometimes, the silence or strategic silence or even the, subtle messages are good enough to convey whatever you want to. The more important part is, if you see it, President Trump is claiming the similar things about Russia-Ukraine crisis or Israel-Hamas conflict or Israel-Iran conflict. But frankly speaking, we are not seeing any ultimate full stop in any of these conflicts. I don't think, maybe President Trump wanted to project himself as a peacemaker and a deal maker at the international level, maybe for some peace prize. But the actual question is, did we take a decision? And for the benefit of the viewers, I want to make it clear: the war is when the war is declared, the ceasefire is possible. Here we clearly decided to make a precision strike in response to Pahalgam terror strike. One. Two, we clearly informed DGMO Pakistan that we have attacked certain terror camps, and we clearly shared the locations. And we also said that we didn't want escalation as far as, and that's why we didn't strike any of the military establishment or civilian establishment. Three, when Pakistan tried to attack us, we defended, and then in retaliation, we again struck down 11 air bases. So our message was very clear. And then Pakistan, as Prime Minister clearly said today, and even Home Minister clearly mentioned, that Pakistan virtually was not in a position to make any counter attack. And then Pakistani DGMO approached India's DGMO, and then the decision for stopping the border-related action was taken.
Yes.
But again, the underlying message that we got it today from Union Home Minister and then Prime Minister, that Operation Sindoor is not over. I think what has happened in this process, Gautam, we need to understand, and the world need to understand, that India has completely changed India has actually articulated a new doctrine. India is no longer going to differentiate between the terror sponsoring state and the terrorist organizations. Any terror attack would be considered as an act of war. I think that is the biggest doctrinal change that India has made, and India actually sees the opportunity two ways. One, this doctrinal change, and secondly, the way India has actually worked on the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the self-reliance in defense sector is concerned.
Certainly, and that came across very clearly, even in the aftermath of Operation Sindoor, and through this discussion as well, 2 days of discussion in both houses of Parliament. But this discussion went beyond the response to Operation Sindoor. It went into the domain of how India has responded through the decades to the challenge, to the scourge of terrorism, and a distinction was drawn there as well between how it was handled pre-2014 and then post-2014. Do you think that's a fair comparison?
When the political statements are made, it is bound to happen that some historical skeletons are they are bound to come out because we have seen the era when there was a consistent threat of terror attack from Mumbai blast to Pune or Best Bakery. Then somewhere in German bakery and Hyderabad, a place after place.
In fact, distinction in foreign policy. Distinction in foreign policy was also made. That foreign policy was different pre-2014 and foreign policy became different after 2014. There were reference to Kachatibu as well. There were reference to Indus water sharing treaty as well. And of course, Sharm el Sheikh.
Absolutely. After 26/11 Mumbai attack, there was expectation, and even in the establishment, then there was a talk about some kind of. But what happened after that was a very surprising thing, and the equivalence that or the hyphenation, as they call in the strategic parlance between India and Pakistan, was really, really shocking. And therefore, this kind of discussion, what happened in 1948 when we approached UN, when our armed forces were in a superior position. In fact, Union Home Minister made a very categorical statement that today we see something called Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir, the illegally occupied territories of Jammu Kashmir by Pakistan. It is because of first Prime Minister Pandit Nehru's policies. Similarly, the Indus Water Treaty, there was a lot of discussion on, the way through World Bank mediation, Indus Water Treaty was signed. And 80% of the water, especially the Western waters, we compromised on our share and then gave it to Pakistan with the hope that all other issues will be resolved because of this. So every time the expectations and the kind of one-sided peace deal was broken. The trust was broken. We have seen that after Lahore bus also. And after that, we have seen series of terror attacks from Parliament to Mumbai blast. But what has changed post 2014? Whether Balakot, whether surgical airstrike, and now precision strikes, we have dared to cross the line. First LOC, then Pakistan occupied, then international border, and now this time we went up to the interior parts of Punjab,
yes,
where the heart of Pakistan terror camps, very close to military establishment, actually, supported by Pakistani military. And
so all the issues raised by the opposition were responded to in a very forthright manner.
Two examples. Yes. And there, Pakistan coming out, Pakistani military coming out in, after those strikes, in the last riots of these terrorists, actually exposed Pakistan and
yes,
in a way the statements made by Pakistan after those attacks also were in a way acceptance that somewhere.
All the points raised by the opposition were responded to very forthrightly by Prime Minister and his team. But do you think that this entire debate has now been put to rest, or the opposition will still try and rake it up? Although Prime Minister Modi said something pretty telling, and I will loosely translate it because he said it in Hindi, that you might be able to make headlines in tomorrow's papers, but you will never be able to win the people's hearts with the kind of arguments that you're making.
Yes, I think, Gautam, when it comes to the political argumentation, there will be questions, there will be. But as far as people of India are concerned and the international, our communication is concerned, we did that through all party delegations, and we communicated our position. And now to the entire, especially after this Operation Mahadev, that the actual culprits of this Pahalgam attack, they are eliminated. And the way Union Home Minister explained their moment by moment and date by date movement and their verification, the way it was verified and then operation took place, I think it should put to rest all kinds of suspicion and discussion about. But politically, I think it will make some headlines.
Okay.
But as far as people are concerned, I think most of the things are clear. When we are saying that Operation Sindoor has not ended yet, what is the new threshold that we have accepted? How far we are going to now, tolerate Pakistan's any form of sponsoring of terrorism? That is going to be the very interesting part, because doctrinally we have changed, but in action, how are we going to implement that? That is going to be.
Well, let's hope that we don't find out, because that means that Pakistan would be up to something again quite nefarious, and we do not want that happening at all. It should be foiled and nipped in the bud, even if such a thing is attempted. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Praful Ketkar.